Welcome to the FishFlix.com Christian Movie Podcast. Every Wednesday, we review a Christian film, informing you about the story, production quality, and family friendliness. Our goal is to bring you all the latest news and insights on Christian movies and recommend wholesome films for you to watch together as a family. I'm your host, Noah Metzger, and today we'll be reviewing the Book of Genesis.
You lead us to the edge of all things, where darkness and light collide.
No!
There you ask us to die. There you promise that we will be reborn.
Don't wait too long. There's nothing left for you to give him.
I can give him our story.
The Book of Genesis is a film by Bridgestone Multimedia Group that chronicles the entire first book of the Bible as told by Jochebed, a mother hiding in shelter to protect her baby son from being murdered. While in hiding, she explains the entire book of Genesis, narrating the stories of Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, Jacob, and others. As she explains the story, she talks about the Garden of Eden and how because of Adam and Eve's sin, we were forced to leave. However, all is not lost, as someday we will be able to make the journey back into dwelling with God. Over the course of Jochebed's weary night, she masterfully weaves multiple stories together into an artistic piece of narrative film. Beginning with the story of Adam and Eve, she explains how it all began, then working her way into the story of Cain and Abel, then Noah and the Ark, Abram and Sarai, Abraham's sacrifice of his son Isaac, Jacob and his ladder to heaven, and eventually the story of Joseph. The Book of Genesis is a powerful and dramatic depiction of the true events that took place in the opening book of the Bible. You will receive new insights into these incredible stories and watch as the events you've read about many times are brought to life through the amazing power of film. The Book of Genesis is most definitely an artistic piece. Rather than a simple narrative or drama, this film is really more of an experience. Narrated by the mother Jochebed, we are able to visit some of the most iconic moments of the Book of Genesis in a varied order. Rather than most other biblical dramas and films that portray the Book of Genesis as rather straightforward, this film opts to hop around a little more, showing us different moments from the book in a compelling narrative, all to bring us to a simple but thrilling point in the end. The cinematography in this movie really stands out from other Christian films as being very artistic and visually stunning. There were certain shots that really stuck in my mind after watching the movie because of the incredible cinematography behind them. The film is thoughtful and mindful of its source material and does its best to stick to biblical influence. There was nothing blatantly anachronistic in the film, and the whole thing made me really feel like I was in Bible times. The acting is also very convincing, and while there may not be as much story or dialogue in the film, the actors still deliver convincing and satisfactory performances in their roles. Overall, it's a beautiful work with fantastic stories and a stunning visual presentation. The Book of Genesis movie made me feel like I was almost watching a highlights reel of the Book of Genesis, with all of the best moments being played out for me. One issue I would have with this film is that it may not be readily accessible or understandable to non-Christians. Unless you've read the Book of Genesis for yourself, parts of the story may be a little confusing to understand. However, this movie truly is a work of art with a wonderful fusion of visual and audible art. It's well worth a watch. This movie is mostly family-friendly, although there are a few instances of violence and other thematic elements. Other difficult-to-capture scenes are well shot to not be too revealing, like any scene with Adam and Eve, which I appreciated. We always like to follow the Dove Foundation, which approves this movie for ages 12 and up. But as always, we recommend that you watch the movie first and decide if it's appropriate for your particular family. Now we'd like to know what you think. Have you seen this movie and would like to let us know your thoughts? Maybe you'd like us to review a certain movie or have a question or comment. Whatever your thoughts may be, we'd love to hear from you, and we now have an email address. You can write your question, comment, or suggestion to podcast@FishFlix.com. We'd really like to know your thoughts. And if you would like to find out more about the Book of Genesis or would be interested in purchasing it, you can visit our website at www.FishFlix.com. On our website, we have a vast assortment of Christian films you can learn about or purchase. We have a large collection containing both classics and brand new movies that are just releasing, all at incredibly low prices. Thank you for joining us, and as always, please be sure to stay tuned as we bring you more reviews every week on the FishFlix.com Christian Movie Podcast.